Hello, how are you? We are here tonight with Kelsey Reidl, and she is, I'm just gonna phrase you in my own words right now, okay, Kelsey?
Perfect.
So Kelsey is a startup expert. She helps people in a couple of different phases, but most importantly, really get their business off the ground. Whether you know you want to be an entrepreneur and you don't know what you want to do, Kelsey can help you. If you have an idea, she can also help you. So Kelsey has a podcast. She also has a course, which she'll talk to you about. But I'm super thrilled to have Kelsey here today because I know now, as our economy shifts, we are being put in situations where many of us are needing to become entrepreneurs as well as learning different skills. So I love that Kelsey's a partner of ours at the ladies community because she can help give women the resources and skills that they need in order to create the life of their dreams. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Kelsey, to introduce yourself, and then we can head right on into the meat of this webinar and tell us exactly what we're going to get through this next hour.
Awesome. Thank you, Vanessa. Hi, everyone. So excited to be on with you tonight. I am not normally a night owl, so this is like pushing my bedtime. So I hope I'm at my prime. I had a coffee a few hours ago. I wanted to make sure I was at my peak energy. But yeah, as Vanessa said, I am super passionate about helping you get your idea off the ground because at a certain point in my life, and I'll share a lot more about my story kind of sprinkled through the next hour, but I have been let go from a couple corporate jobs. And there were a few moments in life where I woke up one day and I said, well, shoot, like I need to make money. I have an apartment to pay rent on. I've got expenses. What the heck am I going to do? And it was these moments that really were defining in my path because I had to get scrappy. And I was like, you know what? I do have a couple ideas in the back of my mind. What is the first actionable step I need to take in order to turn this into a business? And again, I will share so much more about that. But at the deepest part of my core, I really do believe that we all possess skills and knowledge and life experience that you can turn into a business, right? I'm going to mention something called the knowledge economy a lot tonight because we are living in this economy where people are willing to pay for your knowledge. And you don't need to be an expert. You don't need to be someone who has 40, 50 years experience because so long as you have something, a skill, a talent, an expertise, an experience that somebody else wants, they will pay you to download that in a really quick manner. And I can speak from experience because I have paid coaches and mentors and people to teach me Pinterest strategy, all because they had a skill that I didn't. And I sought them out and I found them and I said, give me your price, right? So we're living in the coolest time. And I hope to share a little bit more about that. And then to help you understand what you have within you that you could potentially turn into a business. And maybe you're not going to charge thousands and thousands of dollars for this service, but what about starting to build a strong foundation around something that you have an expertise in that somebody else may not? So yeah, super excited. If you want to share any of the quotable moments that I go through tonight, you can find me on Instagram. I'm just at Kelsey Reidl, so my first and last name. So be sure to tag me, and I'll share a lot more of my contact information at the end of the evening. So get started. Let me figure out how to flip slides here. Okay, here we go. So I am assuming that because you were someone who was attracted to this topic of a webinar, that you have a piece of you that's already tuned in to the massive possibility that comes alongside running your own business. Maybe you have an entrepreneur in your family. Maybe you've seen some of your friends who have started up an Instagram account and all of a sudden they're like making money or getting brand sponsorships or having people reach out to them with opportunities. Maybe you love the local coffee shop down the road and you realize that the person who started that coffee shop is not much different than you, right? They're just someone who took action, started to follow their potential and their dreams, and now they're running a business. And I know that everyone on this webinar tonight, or whenever you're watching this, you might be in a position of working for someone else full time, or already have a business, or desire to start a business. But again, if you've seen a business owner in their prime, in their glory, and you've seen that business grow from 0 to nothing, what you've seen is limitless potential. And that's what entrepreneurship offers us, because it doesn't put us in a box. And if you have any inkling that that might be something that intrigues you, it's so cool to be able to start a brand or a business where you're not confined by what your manager says or by what the company plan is. So I hope that you are tuned in to the possibility that comes alongside starting a business at any point in your life. So some of my goals for today and over the next hour, I might need to chat fast, to number one, help you to discover what your strengths are and what you might be here to teach. Number two, I want to tap you into this knowledge economy. It's been called many different things, but I'm going to refer to it as the knowledge industry or the knowledge economy. And it has grown to be a $129 billion industry, and it's set to triple in the next 5 years. I think we can all nod our heads with this, because we see people offering coaching, offering consulting, offering freelance, selling workshops, selling retreats, selling ebooks, selling courses. Like, it's insane, but it does not show signs of slowing down. And I don't believe in the word saturation. There's never saturation if you offer something unique. So don't be deterred by this, be inspired by this. And then I'm gonna finish off the class tonight just by sharing 5 key attributes of any successful business owner that I really do believe we need to work on before we even launch our businesses. The real goal of tonight's webinar, aside from teaching you about your strengths and this economy that we live in, I want to remind you that you can create whatever you want in this lifetime. If you can dream it, you can do it. I know that phrase is overused, but honestly, ladies, if you feel constrained or restricted by any of your limiting beliefs, just know that those can be lifted. And by watching others to reach their full potential, and by seeing that people are truly creating their own industries, the jobs that we are working did not exist 10, 20 years ago, right? Like, I remember doing one of those career finders in like grade 5 or 6, and it told me I was going to be a chimney sweep. I don't even think that job exists anymore, but it certainly didn't have an option that I could be an online entrepreneur, right? So like, times are changing. I usually don't tell people that chimney sweep story because it's kind of embarrassing that that was my top job recommendation, but I never ended up following that path. I chose something different. I love this quote. I'm reading this book right now. It's called The Path Made Clear by Oprah, and it's a compilation of quotes from some of her favorite guests. And it says, there's no greater gift you can give or receive than to honor your calling. It's why you were born and how you become most truly alive. And maybe for some of you, you've had a taste of what this is. Maybe you started training for a marathon recently and you really felt like it made you come alive and you loved telling your family and your friends about the process. Okay, maybe there's something there. And if you haven't felt that extreme joy, just know that by trying some new hobbies and sports and learning new skills and reading new books, you will find something that really sparks that joy. And when you feel that you're coming alive, there is something you need to follow there. And you will be successful if you follow that, okay? A little reminder before we dive into all of this is that there are people, surely less qualified than you, doing what you want to do, okay? It is no longer necessary to have a Harvard education to get up on a stage and speak. This is just not the case anymore. What we want from the people who we choose to pay for their product or service is someone who has unique experience, somebody who has a heart for serving others, somebody who has proven testimonials. Qualifications have kind of fallen to the wayside. I have hired coaches, whether it be for health coaching, business coaching, and I've not even looked at what their qualifications are because I know they can get me results, right? And that becomes so much more important than our qualifications. So I want to reinstill that in you because a lot of people think, well, just when I go get this other course or just when I get this certification, then I'll do this. But don't let that hold you back. Of course, there are exceptions. Like if you want to be a surgeon, then maybe go get your qualifications. But if you're part of the knowledge economy, truly, if you have a skill to share that somebody else desires, you're already halfway there. So as you know, like we're not selling anything on this webinar, but I hope you can tell, like I love talking about this and pulling the ideas out of your head alongside you to really explore what you might be able to create. So at the end today, I will be sharing how you guys can book a free strategy call with me. I think somebody's volume just came on. Everyone can mute themselves. Oh, there we go. Awesome. So I will share details on that at the end because one of the best ways that I know how to explore my ideas and to really get those visionary ideas is to talk with someone. The best things never happen when I'm just sitting at my office alone. Like that's not me dreaming big. It's when I'm conversing with people, when I'm surrounded by like-minded humans like yourselves, and we can really bounce ideas around. Okay, so we're going to start with a little quiz here. So I've got 7 questions for you. So you can either take a pen and paper and journal on this, or you can just think. So number 1, do you ever wake up in the morning and feel like, oh, shoot, I really want something bigger to drive me today? Or maybe you just feel like that lackluster of, I don't want to go do what I'm supposed to be doing. Do you know you are capable of creating a business or a brand, but you're lacking that clarity on what it is, which is probably preventing you from taking any action? Do you feel like, for some of you, you might be financially driven? So I'm not financially driven, but time is my currency. For someone to have a hold on me saying, you need to be here at 9, you need to leave at 5, I couldn't handle that. Okay, so this was a driving force in me starting my own business. Another question, do you want to package up the knowledge that you already have and share it with others? Or maybe create a product or create a service, okay? I'll reference the knowledge industry because if you don't know what you want to start as a business, packaging your knowledge is one of the easiest things, but maybe you have an idea to create a supplement brand, or maybe you have an idea to create email templates and sell them. There's so much that you can do, but do you have that desire? Because if you don't, you are not going to be successful in starting a business. You have to cultivate that desire, right? Really understand that strength that you have and build the belief around it. A few questions that if you've ever worked with a coach before, they might have asked you this, but if nothing changes in the next 5 years, will you still be happy? If you're following the same path now that you are forever, is that okay with you? And if you build someone else's dream for the rest of your life, will you feel fulfilled? So if you said yes to all 3 of these questions, maybe you're not really ready to dive into entrepreneurship. And that's totally okay. You might find yourself like me, unemployed, and be forced into it. But if you did answer no to some of these questions, you're not okay with being where you are in 5 years, you're not okay building someone else's dream for the rest of your life, you are on the path to starting a business. I can already feel it. It's brewing. And this is probably going to be the perfect time to start taking action on those ideas. And I like that this webinar is hosted in December because with the new year upon us, like there's that different excitement around January, getting started and taking action on a new idea. So if those questions evoked a sense of excitement within you, then I can't wait to walk you through the next bit of this webinar tonight. So I didn't exactly introduce myself yet, so I'll take some time now to just really tell you why I'm sitting here teaching you this this evening. So as I mentioned, in my 20s, I was let go from 2 of my dream jobs, one of which was for one of Canada's top grocery store chains, working out of their Joe Fresh offices downtown. And then another was working for a really large nutrition and supplement brand. And both due to business restructuring, hopefully nothing against me personally, but I found myself booted out of a job. And both of those times, I was lucky enough to fall back on a certification or a diploma that I had done years prior as a registered holistic nutritionist, which I did about 8 years ago. And so I woke up both times after being let go from my dream jobs and found myself in this place of, well, I need to pay the bills. So what am I going to do? So I started to build a brand around being a nutritionist. Okay. I had a skill. I had paid $5,000 to go to school to become a nutritionist, and I hadn't really taken action on it. Right. And so I thought, you know what? I need to do something about this. So I built the website, started running online nutrition programs. Somewhere along the line, went back to another corporate job, again, got let go, came back to my nutrition business, realized, okay, well, I've learned a lot now about holistic health and natural lifestyle. And I've taught myself a lot of personal development and adopting a growth mindset. So I started to include that in my courses, and I built these online 30-day programs around it. And then, fear and doubt creeps in, and a lack of clarity. And I found another amazing, amazing job as the marketing manager for a really great health company downtown. And this is in Toronto. I know some people are not in Toronto. And probably 3 to 4 days into that, I knew I had made a massive mistake. And I sat on it for a couple months, and then I let myself go from this role. And it was embarrassing, but I had that deep inner calling that the time was now to go big and to start building a brand. I wanted to start betting on myself, and I had worked on building my belief around what I wanted to do, who I was here to serve, and what transformations I could offer someone. So as I started building my nutrition business and being more visible and sharing literally just what I was loving, what I was eating, working with clients one-on-one and doing these group programs, I started to get people asking me, hey, how'd you build your website? Hey, how did you get your first group program off the ground? Hey, how do you do your email marketing? And I thought, well, shoot, I might as well just create a whole course around that too. People were recognizing something in me that I didn't yet see in myself. And I want to share this story because I guarantee that you all have been complimented on something in the past 365 days. Somebody has said, hey, I love your style. Hey, did you take those photos on your Instagram? They're amazing. Hey, you seem to really have this mom of kids thing down pat. Hey, you look amazing. I know you've been boxing lately. How do you fit in your 30-minute workouts every day? Okay, when people are giving you these little compliments, these are breadcrumbs. Somebody is telling you that they recognize something in you, that they admire, that they see in you that they may not see in themselves. And that's what happened to me. And that's when I really shifted my entire business and my entire brand to be coaching people how to take action on their ideas and ultimately build their business plans, build their strategies, everything that I had done in my business that people were asking me about. So I said, okay, shutting down the nutrition practice. And for the last 4 years, I have solely been focusing on helping startup entrepreneurs to get their ideas out of their head and bring them to the world, primarily through online strategies, but I still do a lot of experiential work in person. So you might be thinking, well, Kelsey, this is great, but I still have no clue what type of brand or business I should create. right? You're like, I'm unique. I still don't know. I'm stuck in this rut. I want to quit my job, but I don't know what to do. I'm going to give you a big reality check here. Nothing is self-evidently what you're supposed to devote your life to. There might be like 5 people in the world right now who are like, I know my true calling. I am born to do this and it's never going to change. The rest of us, we're just following a little nudge, taking action, testing it out, and trying it on for size, right? You're not usually going to get this like aha moment that's like, yeah, you're going to be real successful at this. Go for it. It's just not how it works. Nothing is really self-evidently what you're supposed to devote your life to, but you can go try things and you can see if people buy your product or service, and you can tweak it, and then you can relaunch it, and then you can see if more people buy it, and then you watch that expand from there and then continue on that. Or you do it and then you pivot because it didn't work. So I want to remind you of this quote, and maybe it's one that you take a picture of. At some point, you truly just have to make a leap, and it might be a small leap, it might be a big leap. Hopefully it's not a massive financial risk. I usually coach people to do low cost, low risk launches into business. I'm not going to be the coach if you're looking to start a pharmaceutical company with $6 billion. Like, that's not my bread and butter. I like showing people how to build a brand from the ground up using the skills you already have and tapping into resources that are very affordable. And that's what I've done, right? So that's what I can teach. But at some point, you just decide to make the leap, right? You decide to pursue one passion and follow it through and see it to the end. So I mentioned the knowledge economy a few times, and the fact that I wish I had a Harvard degree, but I don't. And it's okay, because I'm still getting people who want to work with me on a daily basis. This knowledge industry is growing, and it's growing rapidly, because if you can solve someone's problem, you have a business or a potential business, especially if someone sees in you what they desire, or they connect with you over some sort of, common thread between the two of you. And the beautiful thing about living in 2019 is that at the tap of a keyboard, you can create content where there's never been content. You can create income by literally putting a buy now button on a website, on your link in bio in your Instagram. Like, it's kind of scary how easy it is to sell something, but it's also incredible. It means that you can monetize your skills and your strengths. So, who can join the knowledge economy? Well, if you have any life or any work experience, I guarantee you can join. If you have stories to share based on wins or challenges you've gone through, you can join the knowledge economy. I know someone who's coaching people on going through a divorce. Is she a certified life counselor, life coach? No, but people connect with her story. She shared the entire process and how she got through it and how she got to the other side. That was a challenge in her life, but she's got a tribe of people who really deeply connect with her story and who want to work with her. If you have a growth mindset and you want to go teach yourself something and then share it with others, this is possible. One of my friends is one of the top course sellers on the platform udemy.com. If you've never been, it's UDEMY. And it's just like a knowledge sharing economy. He taught himself to code, and recorded himself learning. And then he made hundreds of thousands of dollars selling those videos. He recorded himself learning how to code, and now he's one of the top grossing course creators. Crazy, blows my mind every time. And if you have the desire to create something meaningful, to solve a problem, you can join this economy. You can start a business. I honestly would not be passionate about this if I had never done it or if I didn't know people doing it, but this is kind of this is my niche. This is what I look for every day, to share stories about people doing it. So if you want more freedom, you want more control over your time, you're sick and tired of your current job, I've been there like many times. And if you get rushes of inspiration, but you kind of feel drained at the end of a day because maybe your creative energy is going to someone else, and that's okay. I mean, we have to fuel our business as we grow it or bootstrap it. But if you're getting those rushes more and more, it's time to figure out a better way. How can you start devoting more time and energy to this business that you want to get off the ground? I've kind of gone over this, but we really are moving to this peer-to-peer economy. I think one of the reasons why I hated university so many years ago is that I didn't get to choose my teachers, right? I signed up for a class and then this teacher was standing in front of a lecture hall who I did not connect with. If it were up to me, I would like to hand select my teachers. So when I graduated university and I started investing in courses and workshops and immersive experiences, I went because of the teacher. I hired people who I actually connected with and I chose them and then I learned from them, right? That's the peer-to-peer economy that we live in. So some promising stats about the knowledge economy. There's such a low barrier to entry. So if you're looking to start a business, you have no idea where to begin and you want to pull the ideas out of your head, it's not going to cost you a lot of money. And you have the ability to pivot and adapt really quickly, right? Because you can evolve your blog, you can evolve your service-based offerings. The startup investment is hundreds of dollars, if not less, right? So I keep referencing, like, pull the knowledge and ideas out of your head, but like, what are you going to do? And it's not limited to this list of 7 ways. But for example, you can create an online course. You can offer coaching of some sorts, like my friend who offers divorce coaching. You could write ebooks or downloadable products. You could do consulting or freelance work. I know a lot of digital nomads who are doing freelance full time. And I did that for a long time as I got my coaching business off the ground. You could offer retreats, workshops. That's just sharing knowledge and being a curator of different experts. Or find another way to bring your expertise online. Become a YouTuber. Again, create a course on Udemy like my friend did. Skillshare. I mean, there's so much. And people are paying for this. So those are just some ideas. And if you have more ideas, I'd love for you to share them in the chat box too. So now I really want to shift into sharing 5 secrets, but they're not secrets per se. They've been around forever. And these are things that I would highly suggest mastering or at least practicing before you start your knowledge business or before you start any business. Again, they're not new, but they're underutilized, okay? So if you can master these 5 things and really understand why I'm saying they're important, then you will find success a lot quicker. These are foundational principles, like the foundation of your business house. And unfortunately, these are things that they don't teach in school. I had to learn a lot of these myself through failures, through dips in my business, through not understanding why I wasn't growing as fast as I wanted to. But that's why I'm here to share them with you today. So number 1 is believe that you have something unique. I kind of roll my eyes when every single course or coach I work with nowadays is like, okay, we're going to start with mindset. And I'm like, I have mastered my mindset. I've worked on this. But the truth is, we have these limiting beliefs that are just kind of hanging around us like shadows, telling us what our path is, right? And so we're all going to be at different places here, but working on your belief in what you have to offer is the most important thing in the world before you start this business. And back to that quote that I told you at the beginning, that there are people less qualified than you building empires right now. You know why? It's because they've worked on their belief and they show up with this rock star energy this unshakable confidence, and they believe their potential is unlimited. And so they go there. I work with a client right now who's 23, who pulls in like almost $1 million a year. And the way that I see that he has worked on his mindset, he's been to every Tony Robbins concert, is constantly learning, is devoted to building belief in what he has to offer. Like, he's going major places. Most 23-year-olds are not where he is, but it's absolutely incredible. So, of course, there's so many ways that you can build that belief. And unfortunately, I can't necessarily tell you how to do it. It very much is going to come from within and in getting micro results from sharing your idea with people, right? So if you say, you know what, like, I am really feeling like I want to put my my nutrition plan on the internet. I want to show people how to meal prep. What you're going to do is you're going to give people a little taste of what you do, right? Maybe you do an Instagram live and you show people what a Sunday night meal prep looks like. And I guarantee you're going to have 1 or 2 people that say, that was awesome. You've really changed the trajectory of how my family ate for the next 7 days. This is insane. That's going to build your belief. Then you're going to write a blog post on 7 easy meals in 7 minutes or whatever. And you're going to get someone who shares it with their friend. And then that person shares it with 10 other people. And all of a sudden you realize that's impacted 10 families. That's going to build your belief, okay? Hearing stories of other people like you, connecting with like-minded people in the ladies community, that's going to build your belief as well. And if you're still not convinced and you don't really know, because potentially the idea is just not what you're meant to follow, I want you to go back to the drawing board. And if you've ever seen, there's this diagram, you could Google it, but it's the Japanese way of finding your life's purpose. It's called Ikigai. And it really has you determine like what you're passionate about, what skills you have, what education or credentials you have, and you kind of find this little space in the middle. And usually when you spend enough time coming up with this inner chart of where all the trajectories of your life meet, you will already have some success stories, some experiences, some positive results that have come from you hanging out in your prime, in the place that is called your life's purpose. So you could always Google that. Again, it's called Ikigai, like Ikigai, but I can't go through that all in tonight's webinar just because we are a bit limited on time. So I want you to find something that you want to share with the world or just with a small community that you believe in so strongly. And you believe in it because you already have some results in it. So the secret number 2 before you start your business is to show up and shine bright. And what I mean by this is making sure that you are someone who delivers value anytime that you show up to share with an audience, to create content, to jump on a social media webinar or a video. You want to show up and show that you are unique and that you are a person who's here to transform lives, right? And that comes from first building that belief, and then second, showing up and not playing small and hiding. So as we know that people, we are all different. We all have different life experiences and backgrounds and character traits. Who you are is so highly differentiated. But oftentimes what you do is kind of a commodity. So like I said, I started my career as a nutritionist, but I graduated with a class of 27 other nutritionists. It's kind of a commodity because there were also other classes through Ontario graduating at the same time. But what I didn't know at the time was that I am highly differentiated based on who I am, based on being an athlete, based on someone who has a very balanced approach to eating, who's not going to tell you to be super strict with your meals, based on the fact that my recipes are not even recipes. They're just simple, real, whole foods eaten all together. And I wasn't taking advantage because I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed that I wasn't creating these extravagant recipes. I was embarrassed that, I didn't have it all together. I still had a drink. I still ate white sugar. And I didn't think about the fact that this is me, right? I am differentiated based on who I am. And I need to show that so that people connect with me. I wasn't stepping into my light. I wasn't shining bright. And therefore, I was just delivering a commodity. I was a nutritionist, but I wasn't doing anything to set myself apart. So just a couple examples for you here. I mean, if you work in health or wellness or healing, of course, there are terribly sad statistics right now in the realms of mental illness and chronic disease and obesity. So if you have any tool inside of you that could support this demographic, what's holding you back, right? We need you to shine your light. We need you to offer resources to this growing industry. If you're someone who's skilled at social media or project management or digital marketing, there are so many startup companies, small, medium businesses who need help with this type of thing, but they cannot hire a full-time employee because they don't have that kind of money. And so maybe you've been thinking of consulting and sharing your digital marketing expertise, but you've been hiding it, and you fail to tell the local coffee shop guy that you could do his Instagram, for example. But why? Show up and share what you're passionate about. Step into your power. You could be the one to bring joy to a startup or a struggling business owner. So these are just a couple examples of how it can be so beneficial to believe in yourself and then show up and shine in your light, because people will see that joy in you. They'll see that glow, and they're going to ask you, hey, can you help me out? This is how it all starts. I like that concept of it's selfish not to share your gifts. You could probably all teach me something. And so I hope that in the chat box right now, like if you have something that you really desire to share, and I was reading through the Facebook group earlier today, and I love when people say, hey guys, like I build websites. If anybody is starting up and you want an affordable website, like that's amazing. Even if they are just trying to get clients, but not sharing means I might hire some web developer that's not within our community. Not sharing means I might hire someone off of Fiverr.com and have no personal connection with them. So share your gifts. Let us know what you're up to, because that's the birth of a business. That's the birth of a brand. And consistency is so, so important. So rev yourself up on a daily basis, nourish your mind, nourish the craft that you have, and do it daily, right? Because we need you to do this over and over. It's the compounding effect. All right, let's move on to secret number 3. You need to be treating this business or business idea like a business if you want it to become a business. And I'm assuming you do because you joined a webinar called So You Want to Start a Business, but you have no idea how. Well, I'll tell you how. Treat it like it's real. Show up for this business idea as you show up for your other job. The problem that I see a lot of my clients having is that they arrive to the end of a work week and they have no idea what they did to drive their business forward or to produce results. Okay, that's not okay. You are a business owner. And I tend to call us Chief Visionary Officers. So that's CVO because my brand is Visionary Life. But it's okay. Don't beat yourself up that you're not tracking your progress on Fridays because you've never been in this position before, or probably not. Maybe you've dabbled in starting a business, but if you've never been the CVO of your business before, then you just need to learn the processes. What is it like to show up for my business on a daily basis? Whether it's for 10 minutes or 10 hours, it doesn't matter, but you have to be there consistently treating it like it's a business. When you finally find that clarity in your vision and have a clear plan of attack for the coming months, You can eliminate the non-essentials and double down on the income generating activities. So what I mean by that is in the early days, there's so much going on. You're like, okay, I want to start this business. I need to find clients. I need to get a website. I need to start my Instagram. How do I collect payments? How do I run a Facebook ad? It's chaos, right? You're trying to do it all. However, once you start to drill down and get clear on what are my income producing activities. So maybe you got a client and then you thought, okay, well, how did that client find me? Oh, they found me through my website. So you start doubling down on making your website amazing, following those breadcrumbs of what's working and eliminating the non-essentials, because time is limited and I don't want you spending time on things that are not important. So that's just one tactic of treating your business like a business. And the reality is that if you do treat your business like a six-figure empire, well, you're going to get there. Like my 23-year-old client who decided he was going to be a millionaire by the time he was 30, and he's well on his way. It's insanity. But if you treat your business like a hobby and you just do it when you feel like it, like being an entrepreneur doesn't mean I lay in a hammock all day. I have to show up for this business often and for quite a few hours. But I treat it very seriously. And that's why I see results. Secret number 4 is it has never been as easy as it is right now to start your business. So the old way of starting a business was really about going to the best school, coming from maybe a wealthy family, having monetary backing, getting loans, finding a shop to rent, creating an expensive prototype. The thing is, a lot of the businesses that we are starting these days, they don't require a lot of startup investment. They don't require us to pitch a business plan to an investor. Maybe you watch Dragon's Den and you see how much, or Shark's Tank, which is the American version, you see how much people put on the line when they start businesses that drain their life savings. And I think that's amazing. It's so admirable. But a lower cost, lower risk way for you to start a business is to turn your knowledge into what you sell, right? And in that regard, it's super easy. This path of turning knowledge into a course, an ebook, a webinar, a retreat, this has been walked out thousands, if not hundreds and hundreds of thousands of times already in the last 10 years. So it's been done. It's been proven successful. People have made, $1 million off course launches. People are charging for online retreats and summits. People are creating mastermind experiences where you meet once a month and they bring in guest speakers. This has all been done. And you probably don't have a revolutionary idea of how you can join the knowledge industry and create a new stream of income. You just need to choose one that's already being proven, the one that resonates with you. Maybe it's starting a podcast and gating sponsors that pay for the podcast. You just need the map, right? And unfortunately, a lot of schools don't have the map. So you need to find someone who can teach you, find a course. You join this business and then you can teach others what you've learned. And secret number 5 is to invest in yourself. Now, this is one that I struggled for many years because I thought I can do it all. I'm very stubborn. I like to self-teach. But what really got me hung up was that I wasn't moving at the pace I knew I could. And at a certain point, I had to realize I've never done this before. I've never built an online course and launched it and sold it out. And so it's okay that I don't have all the answers. And maybe it is time to ask someone or consult someone who's already done it, right? There are people who are paying, $20K a year to go to an institution to learn a new skill. Yet it's funny because as startup entrepreneurs, we find it hard to invest money in our development, right? If you wanted to go back to school, say the school I went to, the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition, you would fork over $5,000 to pay. But yet when you want to start a business, there's this barrier of, no, I'll just figure it out myself. And that's an issue because you don't have the skills. You didn't get the textbook. And that is a massive, massive barrier to achieving the potential that you have inside of you. So I always think you can do it your way, but it's going to take a lot longer. The smarter way to do it is to find someone who has built what you want to build and consult them for support. I really do believe that with coaching, the next level of you is waiting to be unleashed. And this is a hard one because sometimes it's a money mindset. Sometimes it's a stubbornness of, no, I'm just going to go find all the answers myself. Sometimes it's just a resistance or a lack of clarity in what you actually want to build. But I have never regretted the money that I spent on myself and my own development. Get to the workshop, whether it's in Toronto or California or online. Go seek out the people who are doing what you want to do. Surround yourself with people who are on a similar trajectory than you and create a mastermind. There is so much power in investing in yourself. And if you are not willing to do that forever, then you are going to fall stagnant and fall behind the competition. Having some sort of mentor, whether this is someone you pay or just someone you listen to their podcast and you love their YouTube videos, it's like having a lighthouse that guides you to safety. Someone who can show you, hey, you got one client last month, but you could have got 5 if you would have done X, Y, and Z. They are your second pair of eyes. Again, because they've done it, you haven't, you need them to be your second pair of eyes. So I'm very, very keen on sharing this concept because I was resistant to it for so long. I love this CEO or this quote from the CEO of Home Depot. And he said, I absolutely believe that people, unless coached, never reach their full potential. So just like high-level athletes have a team of coaches, one of the Toronto Maple Leafs actually lives down the road from us. My husband is a huge fan. And I know for a fact that he has nutritionists coming over to his house, personal trainers, massage therapists. They have their team coach, their practice coaches. Like the list literally goes on. Do you think he would be the captain of the Maple Leafs if he hadn't been coached for the last decade of his life? No, right? He's achieved his full potential because he's had a roster of people who are raising him to become one of the best athletes. So that is it. Those are your 5 secrets. So again, belief that you have something unique, showing up and shining bright. We need you to differentiate based on your personality, treating your business like a business, understanding that we're living in an amazing time and you can start a business, and investing in yourself, in your growth, and in the potential that you have. So I mentioned earlier that some of the goals that we had today were to discover your strengths and what you're here to teach. So again, look up that Ikigai roadmap or go on highfivetest.com and do a strengths test. Or there's many other things that you can do online, your personality quizzes. There's some amazing, amazing resources that you can email me about if you want to just discover more about you. I wanted to talk about the knowledge industry and show you that if you have no idea where to begin when it comes to starting a business, package up what you already know. And number 3, I wanted to share these 5 key attributes of any successful business owner. I'm sure you can agree with me on all 5. And if you have a disagreement, I would love to know because maybe there are some exceptions, but I very strongly believe that these are essential for all of us to work on. So, in summary, last few slides here, you can create whatever you want. You can have it all when you follow these 5 secrets. And the small steps of taking little bits of action, following those breadcrumbs, listening to your community when they compliment you, those lead to such quantum leaps over time. So I'm more than happy to jump on and chat with anybody to explore your life experience. This is something that I would like to offer you just totally free. Email me because we can have a conversation and I can run you through a few of these exercises. Because oftentimes when I start working with clients, they have no idea what they want to build. They have a hunch, they have a passion, and we really figure out what is the crux of your life experience and what you love talking about, and how can we turn that into some sort of offer. So again, we can kind of figure out what you can start a business around, what would be the steps to launch it, because I think sometimes when we can write it down on paper or get it into a program like Asana or Trello, if you can see the visuals of, okay, I need to do the website copy, I would need to create the program, get a social media account. Sometimes it becomes so much more accessible just when you map it out like that. And I'll show you a total roadmap of what you could do if your goal is to maybe step away from your current career path and make this your full-time job. I also teach people how to write business plans. So writing a financial analysis and actually determining, are you going to make any money off this business, is something that I would love to share with you, because I think, we all have great ideas, but some of them may not be profitable businesses. So we can walk through that together too. So in summary, I want to really wrap this all up in a big bow and just remind you that you are limitless, okay? So if you struggle to believe that, look around you, find people who inspire you, who are building amazing businesses, who are, like Vanessa, have built an online community of 9,000 people. Like we have that potential. Facebook is amazing. That entrepreneurship is possible for all of us. Whether that's starting a little side hustle, whether that's replacing your income. Again, people throw around those terms, but it's kind of possible right now, right? We're very, very lucky. And when you follow joy as your GPS, so really just finding those things that make you happy and excited, people feel that from you, right? Your first customers are going to find you because you exude excitement over what you're delivering. All right, so here is kind of how you can contact me. Again, if you want to book that free strategy call with me, that's my email address, hello@kelseyreidl.com, or you can find me through the contact page of my website. But I hope I didn't talk too fast, and I hope you got something out of tonight's webinar. So that's it.
Yeah, that was awesome, Kelsey. Honestly, so much of what you said, I think, obviously is so important, especially surrounding yourself with people who have already been there and who can get you there. I can't tell you, I have 3 coaches. Coaches always have coaches. And if it weren't for my coaches, I consciously chose coaches who are already making, multi-million-dollar empires so that they could teach me what they knew. So then we're always teaching people that are like just behind us and experiencing things that we already experienced, help them get through it faster and easier. And I know that's what you do with so many of your clients. Just to clarify, you work with people one-on-one, and then the stuff you talked about is also a course that people can join as well, correct?
Yep, exactly. So I do both one-on-one, and then there's a group course.
Exactly. So give Kelsey a call. She'll tell you more about kind of what she does, if it's a fit for you, and really help you get your business off the ground. If anyone has any questions, now's the time to kind of pop them in there and see. Silvana says, thanks for sharing. Such great content. Very insightful. Good. So glad that helped you. Anyone else have any questions? Do you have anything specifically that is challenging you right now that you'd like Kelsey's kind of input on? And or you can also keep it for your one-on-one call. But I know sometimes it takes a second for people to type. So we'll give you a minute.
I think we ended. Oh, good timing.
Oh, you ended perfect. Perfect time.
Awesome.
Yeah. What do you find, Kelsey, is the biggest challenge that people face when they're coming to you?
I think, again, something that I even resisted in the early days is the belief that they can create some sort of business based on their life experience.
Yeah.
But like I said, there's so many people out there who are sharing their skills and potentially monetizing them. And they're finding a tribe of people who just want to know, what did you do to get this said transformation?
Yeah.
And that's it, right? And if you can tell someone how to transform and conquer a pain point in their life, you've got yourself an amazing, amazing product or service.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that simple.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of work to build a business around it, but recognizing that you probably already have something within you. You don't need to read another book. You don't need to take another course. Start small and really test out, like, is there something there? Is there something that I can kind of nourish and grow it into an entity of its own, and then move on to the next idea?
Yeah. And you're a perfect example of that. So if you ladies doubt it, you can chat with Kelsey and I.
Yes, exactly.
We do have a question. So do you have a couple tips on how to find mentors so that you can surround yourself with those people that inspire you?
Absolutely. I mean, for me, I am a big podcast junkie. So I'm constantly using the Apple Podcast, like the app, to search out topics that I'm interested in. So the other day I was looking to improve my my email marketing. So I was typing in things like email marketing and just a few other keywords. And I landed on some podcasts who I started listening to. And a couple of the voices, I was like, oh, wow, like I feel very connected to this person. We're on similar paths, but clearly they've figured something out that I haven't. And so now I'm following this girl on Instagram. I'm a part of her email list, and I might reach out to her to actually ask her for some paid services. So that would be one way, but I'm also a big fan of podcasts. The other way for me is Instagram. I like hanging out on Instagram. I like watching people's stories in order to get a vibe for, do they have something that I want? And if so, I'll just direct message them. I'll start that conversation instead of just creeping them forever. And I'll say, hey, like, would love to connect with you. I'm not asking them for like a free phone call, but I'm kind of building that relationship. And then eventually I may hire them for a paid service. So podcasts and Instagram would be my suggestions.
Yeah, Instagram's great too. And you'd be amazed when you actually ask people to be your mentor. There's so many things that open up in that capacity as well.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. And so even if you start, there's so many tips. We could literally talk about this topic forever, but you can also start tagging people in stories, getting their attention, buying their book, attending their event. Like, finding mentors is honestly a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle choice. Like, you gotta go where you think your mentors are and hang out all of those places.
Good tip. I love that. Yeah.
So another question, do you have any advice when you have a great idea, but there's that fear to lose your full-time role? And I'm assuming money might also be tied to that. If I'm correct, you can give me a little yes in the chat box. So what do you recommend for that?
Yeah. So if I'm understanding that question right, it's like you want to pursue this idea, but okay, so maybe hold on.
Yeah.
Is the question that you have an idea and you want to quit your job and pursue it, or that you'll be so distracted at your job that they'll notice and fire you?
The first one.
Money is also very important. First one. Okay, so you have an idea, but you're fearful to go quit and then go all in on this idea. Don't do that. I never recommend people do that. I bootstrapped my business by taking on freelance clients, by teaching fitness classes, by selling these bracelets that my friend made. Like, I did everything to make money to put myself at less risk while I started coaching, because I wanted to be able to launch my business and pay for a few necessary platforms. I needed to pay for my website, my email marketing. I needed to, pay for some paid ads that I was running for some design that I needed. And I didn't want to put myself in a financially stressful place, even though I had quit my job. So I took on freelance gigs, and it is so simple to find freelance gigs nowadays. Go to upwork.com, network with your friends, ask business owners where they need help, get scrappy. Because the worst thing to do is to feel so stressed and desperate over your business idea and have no money to fuel it. So try to have some income coming in. It's okay to quit your full-time job, but you do need to bring in money while you're getting this idea off the ground, unless you are sitting on a large savings and have that luxury. But I would be hustling to at least support your basic expenses while you create this thing.
And I don't know what you think about this, Kelsey, but sometimes you need the grit and the urgency. Like if you have to make money, that's sometimes the best situation that an entrepreneur can be in, because then they're going to hustle and they're going to make it work. Sometimes if you have all the cushy money, you're like, whatever, I don't really need to make this work. Like it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And the money like really lights a fire under your ass.
It does.
Yeah.
It absolutely does. And I'd say like find out what is that motivating factor for you, and keep that goal like in a prime spot at your workspace and remind yourself of why you're doing this.
Yeah, cool. Any other questions before we sign off for the evening? Those were great, ladies. Thank you so much for being here. And Kelsey, thanks so much for taking the time. I know it's almost past your bedtime, but
Yes,
thanks
it
for
is.
sharing all this knowledge for you. I know you're helping so many women, and I'm thrilled that you're a partner of ours so we can continue working together and helping women get their businesses off the ground. Because I know you ladies who are here and watching this, and if some men are watching too, you all have so much to give this world, and you not stepping into that power and actually launching is hurting people. Like people need you. So get out of your own way and do this. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank
Cool.
you so much for having me. That was awesome.
Awesome. Alrighty. Have a good evening and we'll chat with you soon. Thank you.
Bye.